This is the Haulin Assets podcast where we show you how to start and run your own trucking company. Ever wanted to go out on your own? Follow Chris as he goes through the highs and lows of running on his own authority. Welcome, everybody, to the Haulin Assets podcast. This is episode number 65. I am Craig, and joining me remotely, hi, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. I don't have you in studio, and that's why we sound a little different than we might normally, but we have a good reason for it. Today, the title kind of gives it away, but we are going to be talking with somebody. Chris, what are we going to be doing today?
I'm always looking for resources that help owner-operators be successful, especially when it benefits them both in their business and their personal lives, because I feel like we should always strive to improve in every aspect of our lives. And so today we're going to talk with a group that really does that. It's somebody that I've had an association with through Motor Carrier HQ for quite a few years. I think at least 5 years. I can't remember for sure, but it's called the American Association of Owner-Operators, AAOO. It's an association that just really focuses on helping owner-operators be successful, both in their businesses and in their personal lives.
Okay. All right. So we will get to an interview with a couple of guys from AAOO in just a moment. But before we get started, I do want to remind everybody to go to HaulinAssetsLLC.com for full show notes. We're going to have some links and resources from today's episode in those show notes. So make sure you head there and check that out. You can also comment there and have us respond to any questions or comments that you have. You can also find us on Facebook if you want us to do that. So find Haulin Assets on Facebook. Don't forget, Chris, there's no G in there.
There's no G.
So anyway, anything else? Oh yeah, give us reviews on whatever iTunes is called nowadays.
I saw an iTunes review that really kind of struck my fancy because it mentioned you specifically in it.
Oh no, was it 2 stars, 1 star?
It happened to be a 5-star review, which when it mentions you, I mean that kind of surprises me. So. Anyways, it was from a listener, Dev with Z Squared Transport, and he titles his review as "No fluff, just good marinated meat," which I really liked. And then he goes on to say, "New company owner here, very impressed and appreciative of the knowledge provided and the clear integrity of the entire team. Yes, even Craig."
Hey, now we're talking. All right. Next step is to get my face all over the side of that truck, Chris.
That's not going to happen. You've got a face for radio. That's why we do podcasts and not video. But anyway, thanks for the review, Dev. Truly appreciate it. Just also before we get into the interview with the AAOO guys, it's the fourth quarter. The holiday push is here. I just want to focus, make sure everybody remembers, keep your wheels turning. This is really the time of the year when you make some good money. Try not to take any time off or as little time off as you can, maybe a day or two for Thanksgiving. Focus on taking your time off when money's not coming in like it does now, typically the January, February timeframe when things slow down and rates aren't quite as strong. If you remember, Craig, in a past episode, we showed the financial benefit of doing, just one more load a month and, how much additional profit that adds to your bottom line, because at that time, your fixed costs are already covered. And the benefit this time of year is compounded, multiplied even greater because rates are so strong. So try to keep the wheels turning as much as you possibly can this time of year.
Yeah, I was amazed at how much one extra load did to your rate per mile at the end of a month. It was incredible. And it's, I don't know about exponential, but it is a multiplicating factor that you were able to show me. So yeah, I hope people go out and do that. All right, Chris, should we talk to these guys from AAOO?
Let's do it.
All right, let's welcome in David and Kyle from AAOO. I can't decide what to start with first, whether we want to talk about what AAOO stands for or introduce you guys. Let's start with you guys. David, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm David Huff. I'm the CEO of AAOO. My background has been in transportation insurance for a little over 30 years. It's treated me well. I've met a lot of interesting people. Talked to a lot of truckers, especially in the owner-operator small fleet market segment over the years about their their needs and their pain points, how tough it is out there competing with the big fleets, things of that nature, and how tough it is to stay healthy on the road. A lot of tough issues that they deal with day in and day out, as you guys know. So it was about 11 years ago that I was inspired to start AAOO, which stands for American Association of Owner Operators. What we consider an owner operator really is an owner operator or a small fleet that's owned and operated by a family, basically. So whether it's 10 trucks or 20 trucks, or the single individual owner operator that's leased to another motor carrier, that's kind of what my background is specialized in, and what the association focuses on. The real inspiration for starting it was because the market was so underserved on the insurance side. Pricing all over the board. It's still kind of chaotic, and it's gotten worse in the last few years just because of a bunch of different factors. But my goal was to try to band together owner operators and small fleets all across the country, use the power of the group itself, but to try to help improve their lives and help them truck smarter, if you will. And then with another focus on trying to help them stay healthier out on the road, with really the end result, hopefully, and I think that's where we're heading, is to have a larger group of smarter, healthier truckers that that can make more money, save some money, hopefully, and then get home and spend time with their families and not be worn out from the road. Because the most important thing every trucker will tell you is getting home. Everybody loves the lifestyle that's dedicated to doing it, the independence of being on the road. Nobody likes the regulations and all the hassles that you deal with the DOT and all of that. So we try to help them with all of that, make it as simple, as easy to navigate the business side of the business. And then with the real focus on them being real people that are the backbone of America, that need to get home safely to their families so they can spend that quality time with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, David. That was a good intro for you and AAOO. So, Kyle, how about you? Introduce yourself for us.
Yeah, so my background's in marketing. I came onto the association about 4 years ago. So I'm still pretty new to the industry, but definitely been learning along the way. Learned a lot about the industry and what truck drivers need and what they want. So my job has basically been to show the drivers what exactly it is that we have, and help these drivers out with the different benefits that we offer to help them make and save more money on the road. So that's what I've been doing. Like I said, definitely have learned it a lot. Talked to, I guess, hundreds of drivers at this point. And I've had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks, guys. And Chris, I wanted to ask you, because Chris, you were the one who got these guys on the call for us. And obviously you find what they do important. Now, we've already heard a little bit about what AAO does, and so I feel like I have a pretty good idea of why you brought them on, but I wanted to hear you talk a little bit about why you wanted to bring these guys on to talk about AAOO.
Well, I think one of the big things is, David kind of hit the nail on the head in his introduction, is we have a really similar viewpoint and really a common goal. We're trying to help truckers truck smarter and be smarter about what they do. And, we've worked at Motor Carrier HQ with AAOO for quite a few years. And I've seen that common goal. And one of the things I really like about them is they do things that aren't necessarily there to, the focus is not on their association. The focus is on helping truck drivers, helping owner operators. And, one of the things that's really made that apparent to me are some of the programs. Like, one of the things they did really early on was helping truck drivers be healthy. And that's really not, that's not a profit center for these guys. They're not trying to make money off of that. They're really trying to help truck drivers truck smarter and be better at what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys are obviously busy. I got phones in the background.
Yeah,
See, This is the power of people in the future listening to this episode are already calling you guys.
That's actually my phone, Craig. I've got too many phones I got to turn off, and I forgot to turn one of them off.
Oh, you ruined my joke, though. Thanks, Chris. All right.
So, one of my skills.
Okay, so you started AAOO with a focus, it sounds like, of the health stuff, wanting the truckers to be healthier. And did that tie into the insurance side of it as well? You said that was an underserved part. Is that something that ties together?
Yeah, it's it's just real simple to me. And when I was starting the association, the focus of trying to keep drivers safer so that they could get better rates on insurance, a big part of that is staying healthier. We know fatigue is a huge factor in a lot of accidents. Especially the ones that are driver at fault accidents. It's just so difficult. I always explain it to people like this. I live in Kentucky, and a big vacation spot is down on the Panhandle in Florida. A lot of families from here, because it's a 9 or 10 hour drive. That's where we go for spring break and sometimes summer vacation. And people that don't understand trucking, I explain it to them like this. I drive that drive. I did it off and on for years. And when you get to the end of the 9 or 10 hour drive, you're like, man, I'm tired. It's, time to kick back on the beach and maybe, have a beer or something. But you're not ready to go, jogging. You're not ready to go hit the gym. And then I say, imagine doing that and then turning around the next day and coming back, and then turning around the next day and going down, and doing that for months and years. How hard would it be for you to take care of yourself and not just get in that zone of, keeping the wheels rolling to make money? So knowing that helping them improve their health would keep them more alert on the road, make them a better risk for the insurance companies that we negotiate programs for truckers with. We felt, and I still feel, is a key element. It's honestly, it's a tough challenge. It's a tough challenge getting drivers engaged. We've had some success, but I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg and really getting their attention that it's not just important for insurance prices, because that's not always the determining factor on whether you make money in trucking or not, but it's important for your safety, and it's important for your family and your friends that that you're in the best shape you can be in out on the road, traveling amongst all these four-wheelers that have no idea what you're doing for a living.
I'm sure you're not talking about me. Okay, David, I'm sure I am always courteous on the road, for sure. Okay, so what else? I wanted to say, what else do you guys do? But I kind of want to stick on this health thing. Has that evolved since you started this, since you started AAOO, and how you deal with health on the road?
Yeah, it's, we originally went out and tried to just get people excited, engaged, and committed. And really, we found the opposite of what I thought might happen. And I'm not, I'm experienced enough to admit it. I thought people would understand, the driving truck drivers and the companies, small fleet companies we dealt with, would understand that health was really the paramount issue in safety. And they really didn't look at it that way. What they really wanted to know was, how can I make more money, or how can I save more money? So instead of focusing on them being physically fit, we turned the equation around and said, okay, we'll focus on helping you get fiscally fit, and then we'll work on getting you physically fit. So I think that's kind of the stage we're in now, where we've got, thousands of members that have improved their bottom line, and now they're starting to become more interested in taking care of themselves better. I think it's natural that they looked at it that way, and it sort of caught us off guard. So we spent a few years really saying, why aren't these guys engaging in this? It's pretty simple stuff. We're offering free, coaching. We're offering free videos. We're offering all the encouragement we possibly can. And they just continually, with a small percentage, with the exception of small percentage, just pushed back and said, I got to get on the road. I need to make more money. I got to take care of myself and my family first. And since we turned it around, we've seen more engagement. We've got some people that are putting the word out about health, and got some good friends that we've met over the years, like a gentleman named Bob Perry, that's kind of the the trucker trainer. He's been around a lot of years helping guys. So we just had one of our members a couple of months ago. Kyle, what was the contest called that Bob had with his company, Aspire?
Yeah, it was some sort of push-up contest. I don't remember what it exactly was, but
it was a trucker fitness contest, and we had one of our guys place. Was it second? He came in
second place.
One of our members came in second in the contest, doing like 70-something push-ups without a break. I don't know how many you guys can do, but
let's not talk about that.
I don't know if I can ever do that many, but at 56, I certainly can't do that many now.
No, that's great, and I feel like the marketing material here just writes itself, right, Kyle? Whatever you trim from your waistline goes right to your bottom line. I don't know, something like that.
That's good.
Chris, as I recall, this was something that you actually considered when you started Haulin Assets and you started getting out on the road. And I'm having memories of you counting peanut M&Ms that you were allowed to eat every day, that kind of thing. But you thought about that when you first got out on the road, right?
Yeah. I mean, health on the road is a struggle. As most of our listeners probably know, I'm in the National Guard. So I'm not allowed. I've got to maintain a certain level of body fat, which is a constant struggle for me. I'm naturally a bigger guy. Weight has always been a struggle. It's hard. The fight's real. And so, yeah, on the road, that's one of the things the year that I spent driving was I struggled with. I kept a bike in the truck. I kept a jump rope. I do things when I was stopped at a shipper receiver, and just trying to manage a reasonable diet on the road it's hard at home. It's 10 times harder on the road.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like what you guys do is obviously helpful, but not just helpful, but maybe vital for somebody to think about it, whether it's going through AAOO or some other program. But so tell me how that actually works, like on a day-to-day basis. If somebody joins up with AAOO, what does that look like? How is that helping them maintain their health? Is there some kind of, like a fitness tracker, or is it something on a website that they visit every day? What do they do?
So we tried a few different things to begin with. One was partnering with a company called Rolling Strong that had developed an app and some fitness tracking things. And that really was where we came to the realization that they weren't going to voluntarily get involved on any significant percentage in a program that required them to do X amount of things each day. So what we've done since then is worked with another company called Aspire, where Bob Perry is, and kind of hand them off to a situation where they can get some coaching. And then we offer Kyle himself. He done a bunch of exercise videos and nutrition videos where the workout of the week and the nutrition of the week videos, the wow and the now we call them. So we encourage them to go there and look at those. And one of the key things, and I'm sure Chris could tell you this, is that we really try to encourage the drivers to bring their food with them on the road whenever possible. Some drivers can't because they're out there 3 weeks at a time or whatever. But even when you're out on the road, perhaps you could get into a Walmart or somewhere where you can park your truck and get some food out of the grocery store. And prepare that food instead of opting for the bratwurst that's on sale at the truck stop or whatever else they're pushing that's their high profit margin food. It's never good for you, obviously. So it's really, I think, just the messaging of taking care of yourself. There's I just don't think there's a real program fit for truckers to get involved with. There's some guys that do it on their own. We have relationships with a couple of guys that we consider kind of micro influencers that go out in truck stops and try to get people to exercise and talk about fitness. So it's kind of a holistic approach of a bunch of different things where we're just constantly trying to remind them, think before you eat, think before you shut down at night. Can you get some walking in? Can you use your inspection of your truck as a way to get some exercise? So it's I think it's a grind, but it's something where we're seeing just more interest gradually develop over the last couple of years.
Is there anything else that AAOO does? Is it purely health focused, or do you guys have other areas that you focus on as well?
No, we really try to hit all the core elements of the trucking business itself, whether it's low cost software to manage the company through a vendor partner called TruckLogix, roadside assistance through a company called Encore. We have good factoring programs. We have a place where they can go buy and sell trucks online. It's kind of the new Truckvana or that sort of thing called the Truck Tractor Trailer. So we're really trying to give them opportunities and give them, I guess, variety on different ways they can operate their business and improve their bottom line. Because again, it goes back to we proved, we think, that that drivers in general are not going to take care of their health until they feel good fiscally, until they feel like they're doing everything they can to take care of their family and make as much money as they can.
One of the things that I really like that you guys have done in the last, about a year ago that you launched your app. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about your app and what it's used for and some of the benefits of it?
Yeah, so this is something that's still really in development. We're not wide scale out, so we've got some people using it, but it's a brokerless freight network that a tech partner of ours called Haulin Assets developed, and it includes GPS, free truck specific GPS for the truck drivers. And the concept's pretty simple. We have shippers and motor carriers or owner operators that have their own authority that have signed up to try to bring some transparency to freight out there. Where we all know the stories, and I don't know, Chris, how much you dealt with freight brokers over the years. That used to be a lot of horror stories, not as much anymore because they kind of raised the requirements for the bonds and stuff for them to become freight brokers. But the typical, you can't depend on exactly getting the truth from some of these guys out there, and then you don't know how much money they're taking out of the equation. It's usually somewhere between 20 to 50%, and there's always going to be room for freight brokers. Obviously, it's something that is, I think, a necessary part of how to move freight. So we're trying with this company because we think it has a lot of potential to help, especially small fleets and owner operators, trying to connect these small trucking companies directly with shippers, get the broker out of the middle, but doing it with a software application that allows them to see the loads and what they pay, and to take the loads based on what makes the most sense for them. We think it's a good portion of the industry can not eliminate, but really reduce the dead miles, which cost trucking companies and especially the small guys a lot every year. There's millions and millions of deadhead miles out there. So we think knowing where the freight is, what it pays, and not having to negotiate, where it's transparent. And then part of what the app also allows the trucking company or the owner operator to do is process all the paperwork right through the app without having to fax or send things through the mail. So they can process everything from the delivery receipts to get their freight bills paid, to the pickup paperwork, the bill of lading, all of that online in an open contract, immutable contract basis.
Chris, did you use that, or did you wish you had when you're out on the road?
I've used it a little bit, and it's good. There's one of the things that's cool about it is the GPS feature. There's other apps out there that do it, but correct me if I'm wrong. If I remember right, your app's free, and I don't think there's another app out there that does just truck specific routing. Other GPS apps that do that.
That's correct. There's a couple out that do that say they're free, but then they have ads in them. We don't have ads in ours. We want to make sure that it's a tool that the truck driver can depend on to not run him under a low bridge or put him on a road that's not fit for truckers to be on. And again, it's a safety feature. None of them's perfect because the roads change. We know there's construction and things that you can never keep 100% on, but we found a lot of our members were just using Google Maps, because it's free, but that's not always the safest route for you to go to get to your destination without having a problem.
I think anybody who's driven a truck for very long has got caught down a road that a truck should not be on, and that's never fun.
Oh, yeah.
I saw one the other day. A truck got into a shopping center parking lot at like 6 o'clock at night when it was crowded as can be, and that's never a good thing. You don't ever want to get stuck in those kind of spots.
All right. So what was the name of that app?
It is called Freight. It is called Freight Vision.
Freight Vision. All right. So people can go search that out, and I encourage them to do so, obviously. All right. So
it's on Apple, and it's in the Google Play Store as well.
Excellent. So, Chris, what other areas do we need to cover with these guys before we let them go?
And why don't you talk to us a little bit about Mighty Trucker?
Oh, yeah. This is one of the funnest things that I didn't think was going to be a big deal, but somehow Kyle and his people have just really exploded the growth of it. Started the group really just as a way for truckers to share ideas and thoughts, and then maybe jokes and things like that. Just a place for them to go where they could all come together and find out what each other's doing and what's on each other's minds. And so we started out, there was, maybe a few hundred people got involved. And I think at last count, it's close to 25,000 of our people in our community are members of Mighty Trucker. And so I'll let Kyle talk a little bit more about his experience with it, because I know he's more involved day to day in how it works.
Yeah, so what's really cool about the Mighty Trucker, I mean, if you go through the feed, you're going to see some funny memes, some people posting different pictures and stuff, what they're seeing on the road. I think one of the most valuable things, and what I kind of tell people and kind of entice them to join, is especially if you're just starting out, just being able to ask questions. Like we said, I think there's like 25,000 members. So there's lots of truck driving, veterans in there. And I see people ask questions all the time, just kind of, what should I use for factoring, or, a multitude of different questions that they ask, and there's just so many comments. People are so engaged in the group, and people get a lot of, free, valuable help out of that. And with just that taking off so much, we kind of expanded that. We created a digital magazine called The Mighty Trucker. We also just started out a merchandise store where we have, Mighty Trucker merch that they can buy. We have, sweatshirts, hats, all sorts of stuff. So it's really starting to expand. And I didn't think it would take off where it is right now, but I think it's only the beginning.
That's fantastic. You should, in the merch store, I want you guys to have Mighty Trucker branded like resistance bands or some exercise equipment. Chris's jump rope needs to have like the Mighty Trucker on it or something like that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's something that's already been on our minds. So great minds think alike. I know I check on the site every day, at least for a few minutes whenever I can. And sometimes I do it when I just need a distraction from my daily grind at work, because you can go on and you're guaranteed to laugh if you spend more than a couple of minutes on it. And sometimes it gets a little graphic, but the truckers are famous for having opinions, right? They have a lot of time on their hands to think about stuff, and it's just so insightful as to how their mind works sometimes when they're on the road. And the comments they make about the comments are almost funnier than the subjects.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's being out on the road, especially if you're an owner operator, you're not part of a fleet or something. You're on your own, right? And so it sounds like a good water cooler substitute, right? It's a place to come together and just chat with colleagues. Who are doing the same thing you're doing. Yeah, yep. That's great. Well, good. The last question I had for you is actually the difference between you guys and a few other associations out there, because you get confused with a few other companies, right?
Well, just one other company, I think.
Oh, yeah?
OIDA, which is, I've been familiar with them for years. I think they've done some interesting things. We're just probably the polar opposite of them. We're not political. We have our own personal political beliefs, but we don't put it out there that way, because we think, almost like Thanksgiving dinner, the last thing we want to do is bring up politics and how things are done in Washington. That it's out of our control anyway. So we try to give tools to our or make them available to our members and people in our community that to help them deal with whatever the powers that be say. So OIDA is an organization that we think is kind of a legacy organization. I understand how they came together and what the popularity was for. It's just, we think we make a much better fit for the modern trucker, in that we focus on the things we focus on to help them get fiscally and then physically fit, which are things I don't think they focus on really at all.
Sure. All right. Well, Chris, I
wanted to add just a little bit to that. One of the things that we talk a lot about on the podcast is really focusing on the things that you can control. And, a lot of the times the political environment is not really something that we have a lot of direct control on. And one of the things that I like about what you guys do is the things that you're talking about and the things that you do are really focused on those items that you can control. And that's really ultimately what's going to have the biggest impact on any one person's individual quality of life, is focusing on those things in your control, focusing on your finances, focusing on your health. And so that's what you guys really seem to focus a ton on. And that's really ultimately helping these guys gain the biggest benefit for, what they do day in and day out.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it is still a job. It's not their whole life. And, while it is a way of life, it's a different way of life and a different kind of job. It's, when I leave my job and spend time with my family, I want work to be gone. And we think drivers are the same way. They're regular people like us. They put their pants on one leg at a time. And at some point, if we can help them have a little better lifestyle, whether it's the bottom line or their health, then we get a good feeling about doing that. And then hopefully that can carry on to them having a better time in their personal life, the most important part of their life, which is their loved ones, their family, and friends.
Well, that sounds like the perfect place to wrap it up. David and Kyle, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time and chatting with us. And I hope our listeners find it valuable. I think they will.
We appreciate you having us, and check in with us sometime. Maybe we can stay in touch every now and then and let you guys know how things are going, and then find out a little bit more about Chris's days on the road.
Oh, I don't know. It's you talk about horror stories. I don't know if we want to go that way. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much to David and Kyle from AAOO. That's it sounds like, these are guys who know what they're talking about. They've been doing this for a little while. And Chris, you've worked with them before. And
I have. And
there's a reason you wanted to bring them on.
Yeah, they care. They're good guys.
Yeah, that's great. So where do we want to send people? We want to send them to the AAOO website, right?
They can go there, or I'll make it even easier. We've got a website that we kind of partner with them on, and not a website, but a web page. If you just go to AAOO.com/MCHQ for Motor Carrier HQ, you can learn more about the association, kind of how we're involved with them. It's a good place to start.
Okay, so AAOO.com/MCHQ.
Yep, and I'll have that all in the show notes so people can just make it easy. Go to the Haulin Assets LLC.com, look up episode 65, and it'll be there in the show notes.
Fantastic. All right, Chris, any parting thoughts before we hit the road for today?
Have a good week. Happy holidays, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon.